Shabbat Shalom, Rainey. How are you? Everything's cool. How you doing? Taking the family to Florida. Go see the grandparents. Yeah. Yes. Florida? We're going to Miami. Should be pretty good.
I haven't been in Miami in ages. I went to Scott's graduation. It's not recognizable.
Really?
Very different.
You look well.
Bad back. I need knee surgery. I'm hoping to do it in October. I'll do it when I come back. I'll be like this.
You'll be okay.
I'm afraid to do it before.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't
Work, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're working on it. Just revising the thing online. I picked up something I didn't like, so I got everybody crazy today to correct it. But I don't know if we're going to have enough people. It'll be interesting.
We'll see.
What it is, whatever it is, it is. That's all. All right, have a good weekend.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. 3, 4.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
For those that are in the lobby, we'll invite you to come on in and join us. And welcome to all those that are here with us. Of course, welcome to those joining us via the live stream. It's good to be together for Shabbat. And to begin our service, we'll start with the words of Hine Ma Tov that say how good it is to all be together.
Shabbat Shalom.
again, it's so good to be together to welcome in Shabbat, and always particularly exciting when you think it is a holiday weekend that's usually quiet around here and calm, and not that it isn't quiet and calm, but it's an exciting service tonight given that we have 3 of our teens that are going to be speaking, giving the sermon, reflecting on their weekend last weekend. And so it's always nice to bring a little bit of different voices, bring some different voices to the pulpit every so often, especially on a holiday weekend like this. But to begin, of course, we'll light our Shabbat candles and continue with our blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue welcoming in Shabbat with the words of the Charodi, which can be found on the screens above you.
Or on page 20 if you're following along in your prayer books.
Hateret bala kam besimcha uvitzola toch emune ham segula boi chala
Turning ahead in our prayer books, we continue with Chatzi Kaddish, page 145.
Yitzgadol veyitzkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alemat yiverach chirutei ve'hamlich malchutei mechayechon uviyomechon uvchayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman karim mehimeru Amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam ul'al amei almaya Yitzbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitzba'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitzadar ve'yitzaleh ve'yitzalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ehila min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata ve'nechemata Tamiran be'alema mehimeru Amen.
I'll invite you to please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Marechu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishanei itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla gulel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or.
Uma'avir yom u'mevi layla umavtil ben yom u'velayla Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv aravim.
We'll continue responsively. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world.
In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meotecha ve'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, ונאמר כי פדרונה את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety, and in your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth and prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'porei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
We'll continue with the blessings of the Amidah, and we'll invite you to please rise. Page 155.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekoneh Hakol, Mezocher Chaste Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol, Atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mechalkel chaim mechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei hafar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot umido melach, Melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. And at this point in our service, we turn our thoughts and our prayers to those who are in need of healing, healing of the body or healing of the spirit. This Shabbat, we're praying for Cindy Baker, Bob Broder, Ada Barbara Corvelli, Janice Cummins, Susie Fisher, Marcy Goldsmith, Alfred Marcus, Melissa Miller, and Wayne Pole. And to those names we add, of course, those that all of you are praying for this evening, names that you're holding in your hearts. If you feel so inclined and you would like, we'll invite you at this point to share those names and your relationship to the person out loud with our community. Prayers for healing. Bonnie. Yeah, David. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals the sick. continue with the words of Misha Berach.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
And from the healing of the body, we turn to the healing of the world, praying for an abundance of peace in our lives, in our community, across our country, and of course, across our world. Pray Shalom Rav.
This is a new melody, Shalom Rav, by an artist named Alana Arian. It talks about making a house for all people, gathering us in hope for all people, and surrounding us in peace for all people. And I invite you to join in as the words become more familiar throughout the piece. Make of us a house for all people, gather us in hope for all people, surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech hador lechol hashalom. Lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov peinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Sometimes when you look at new words from a lyric, this is the first time I'm hearing this melody actually, and it's really beautiful. And sometimes when you look at the words, which I'm looking at on the visual tefillah screen in front of me, it gives a lot to think about. Make for us a house for all people, gather us in hope, surround us in peace, in wholeness, and in love. Just going to leave us with those words. I'm going to leave them projected on the screen, something to meditate on, something to think about, something certainly to pray for. Take a few moments of silent prayer.
יחיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Fikoali, Fikoali. יחיו לרצון אמרי פי מהגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי Adonai Tzuri, V'koali,
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So, does anybody know how a Torah portion is named? Does anybody know where we get the name from each Torah portion for? Any thoughts? First few words. It is the first significant word in each Torah portion. So this week's Torah portion begins, Eila mishpatim asher tasim lifnehem. It says, these are the laws, or these are the rules you should set before them. So the key word that is derived from this week's Torah portion is laws, or rules. And in this Torah portion, there are a wide range of topics. It's a list of laws that instruct us towards different corners of our society. Some are towards violence and some are towards compassion. Some talk about property and damages. Some talk about people, personal injury laws. It can be confusing and remind us that Jewish law isn't as neat and clear as we sometimes want it to be, similar to how our American government and how our American laws sometimes aren't as clear and simple and exactly how we want them to be. Laws can both fuel disagreement and they can make us better people. Sometimes they make sense, and other times they invoke more questions than answers. But the rules in this Torah portion do a very specific thing. They take laws that feel, some of which relatively mundane, some of them even, we can say, the biblical equivalent of traffic violations, and puts them in the context of the Torah. That is the furthest thing from mundane. It puts them in the context of being inherently holy. And I'll say that last weekend, we had a group of 10th graders who spent the weekend learning about just this, laws and protocols of government that sometimes when you're going through the motions of the work that they were doing, of advocacy, of learning, of action, can sometimes feel repetitive. It can sometimes get tiring and exhausting. But what they did is they made the work extremely holy. They made it holy because of their passion behind it. They made it holy because they used their voices. They did so because it was in the context of our tradition and guided by tradition, and they did so because it was surrounded by community, surrounded by a community of people that were together learning and growing and exploring. So with that, I'm excited to invite up our guest speakers for this evening, Louisa Gordon, Jonathan Francis, and Maddie Tofias, to join us on the Bima and share a little bit about their experience from their time in DC.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Maddie Tofias, and I'm a sophomore at Milburn High School.
My name is Jonathan Francis, and I am a 10th grader at Milburn High School.
My name is Louisa Gordon, and I'm a 10th grader at Kemp Place School in Summit. Last weekend, we all went with a group of fellow 10th graders to La Taken, which is a program for teens in Washington, D.C. at the RAC, short for Religious Action Center. Over the weekend, we celebrated Shabbat, explored Washington, spent time learning about a variety of issues, and then chose an issue that was important to us to lobby to our members of Congress.
We did important learning in preparation for writing our speeches. I signed up for the electives to learn about migration and anti-Semitism. In migration, we talked about different Torah stories when the Jewish people had to exodus. The Passover story in particular resonated with me. It was very impactful to learn how Judaism emphasizes welcoming others and making a difference in society by being activists for goodness. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs says the message of Passover remains as powerful as ever. Freedom is won not on the battlefield, but in the classroom and the home. Teach your children the history of freedom if you want them to never lose it. The second issue was anti-Semitism. We discovered 7 tropes of anti-Semitism, which was power, disloyalty, greed, deicide, which is the belief that Jews killed Jesus, blood libel, which is the belief that Jews use Christian blood for religious rituals, Holocaust denial, and anti-Zionism. According to the RAC, anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred toward Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities. It was so powerful to learn about these myths that people believe because it shows how resilient and strong a people we are by always bouncing back from evil and responding with good. I lobbied for gun violence prevention at Capitol Hill. In the House, the Bipartisan Background Checks Act will help make the country safer and contribute to the sense of security which we all aspire for. In the Senate, the Assault Weapons Ban Act will regulate the ammunition capacity of weaponry, who guns go to, and where guns are stored. The Talmud states, one who takes a life, it is as though they destroy the universe, and one who saves a life, it is as though they save the universe. We will save countless universes and make the world more safe, loving, and peaceful.
We also learned about how mental health is a serious problem in America. 1 in 6 American youth experience serious mental disorders each year, and mental health issues are much more common for LGBTQ+ people and people of color. Despite this issue's prevalence, there is not enough mental health care available. Approximately 80% of children and adolescents with any type of mental health diagnosis have unmet mental health needs, and minorities are even less likely to receive care. One of the best opportunities to treat mental illness is at schools.
Maddie and I lobbied for Representative Sherrill and Senator Booker to co-sponsor the Mental Health Services for Students Act in the 118th Congress to provide funding for mental health care in schools in the U.S. Mental health care is just as important as physical health care, and statistics show that 70 to 80% of students who do get mental health receive it from school. However, 90% of students in these schools aren't fully equipped to handle the mental issues of their student body. Schools need high funding to provide students with adequate mental health care, and this demonstrates why funding from the Mental Health Services for Students Act would place more equity for students no matter the economic status of a student's institution and promote more support to better the academic lives of students in schools all over the country.
As someone who's currently dealt with mental health, it felt really good to lobby with Congress about it. It also has a clear connection to Judaism, as in our speech we talked about the prayer of the Misha Bera, which we just sang, and the value of healing both the body and the mind.
This experience was meaningful to me through the connections made with people who stand for goodness. In addition to everything we learned, we went to the Holocaust Memorial, had a Havdalah at the Jefferson Memorial, visited the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, ate dinner in Georgetown, and watched the Super Bowl together. So it was a really fun trip overall, and I had a lot of information that I learned in a very exciting and hands-on way. It is so nice when a camp feeling can be replicated with the love and passion for Judaism.
We had an amazing time and met so many new people. For me, I discovered more things about myself personally and felt that I grew a lot on this trip. I love talking about social justice issues and feeling like my voice mattered.
The most meaningful part of my time at the Lata Ken seminar was lobbying at Capitol Hill and learning how to make a direct impact on social justice issues that I feel strongly about. I took away that my voice can make an impact no matter how big or small. This may be cliche, however, I went to the weekend with interest in standing up for social justice, but was not sure how I could do this in society. And I came out of the weekend a more confident person and a new ability to stand up for these issues. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Taking their energy and their passion for healing the world. And I'll just note that the seminar they were at that was called Litaken, that I think Louisa mentioned what it was called. It's the word in Hebrew that we use that means to repair or to heal. And how inspiring that not just them, but they were with how many? A couple hundred other teens there. And over the course of the year, the organization brings thousands of teens to DC to learn how to heal the world, and especially the things that are most important to them, that they get to choose what they lobby about, they get to choose what they're learning about, and that only inspires, I think, more of a passion to continue to do good in the world. So with that, we will return to our liturgy. We'll turn to the words of Aleinu, page 282, and I'll invite you to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We now come to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, the words that honor the lives of those in our families and our communities who we have lost. As part of honoring their memories, if you hear the name of a loved one and you feel so inclined, we invite you to rise and to honor their memory. We're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, remembering Rini Parvin, Donald Goldman, Walter Pedowitz, Eduardo Weisselbaum, Joel David Fivis, and Mark Heller. It's the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Seymour Ash, Esther Berkeley, Molly Bornstein, Alexander Kaplan, Sylvia T. Dreskin, Henrietta Eisner, Minette Flowers, Morris Freeman, Dr. Harold Goldberg, David Goldsmith, Stanley James Goldstein, Robert Israel Goodman, Jacob Gauss, Ida Wireman-Grease, David Harris, Lewis Harris, David H. Katz, Fanny Newman Kaufman, Josephine Gibeon Klein, Edith Rose Kramer, Anna Ogans Leiter, Joseph Lermer, Milton Levin, Emmanuel Lindman, David Lowy, Celia Mann, Teresa Mock Marks, Leonard Mellinger, Bernard Mitnick, Albert Mosheim, Eric Mark Maldberg, Celia Dunn Malman, Erwin Novi, Lynn Friedman Pizer, Donald Rubinoff, Esther Schaefer, Norman H. Scher, Ira Schulman, Regina Beitman Schwartz, Julia Sender, Deborah Sue Menashi Smith, Deborah Sue Maheshi Smith, Samuel Spingarn, Lisbeth Spurrow Strauss, Samuel Talkow, Evelyn Tillis, Carrie Marks Turkis, Sophie Teitler Wachsteiter, Dr. Reuben W. Warner, and Matilda Levy Weinberg. And we'll rise as one sacred community as we recite the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'al ma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Please be seated. A couple of announcements this Shabbat. If you turn to your orders of worship, a few things that are coming up that I want to point out. First, we have a number of events happening this week, the next coming weeks. Rebecca Soffer, a wonderful author that talks about loss and grief, is coming to speak. It's going to be a really, I think, enriching conversation. We have our second blood drive this year, March 12th. Make sure to mark your calendar for that and sign up for a slot. The information is all here and it's online. Another thing happening on Monday, there are a lot of you in this room that have been working on this. The family that we are sponsoring from Ukraine is arriving here on Monday. It is going to be an exciting time. A couple people here are going to the airport. Others that are here are setting up the apartment. There's a lot happening and lots of ways to help. You got an email about it this week. Everything is on our website. Please feel free to find a way to tap in, ways to volunteer your time, ways to volunteer your skills, lots of ways to help. And then the back of your order of worship, I will note that there is a new art exhibit. It is one of our own members and a participant of the TBJ Art Committee, Lynn Manchel. Her art is out there, and she will be out here in the art gallery. I believe the Oneg is out there, so take a look at her art. Feel free to talk to her about it. And with that, we will begin to conclude with Kiddush and Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu mishabat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziot mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
And we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And we'll close out with
We will conclude with our nigun, Shabbat Shalom, Yai Lai Lai, whatever words you would like to join in on.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. La 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Last week's at the end, or 2 weeks ago, whatever.